There is no labor in righteousness that goes unnoticed. There is no quiet act of kindness, no unseen struggle of the heart, no prayer uttered in solitude that escapes the sight of the one who holds the universe. It is a common error of man to equate success with visibility, to believe that only what is acknowledged by the world is truly valuable, but this is a deception. The greatest victories are not always those that appear before men, but those that are forged in the unseen places, where patience is tested, faith is refined, and perseverance is demanded. Do not be deceived into thinking that your trials are meaningless. The growth of the tree is slow, yet its roots dig deep before its branches reach high. The sculptor's chisel seems ruthless against the stone, but it reveals the masterpiece hidden within. There will be times when discouragement whispers that your labor is futile, that your prayers are unheard, that your efforts are wasted. But recall this: the divine economy does not operate on the measures of men. To trust in God's justice is to understand that what you sow today may not bear fruit tomorrow, but in His perfect time the harvest will come. Victory is not found merely in worldly applause, but in steadfast faith. It is not determined by how swiftly one reaches the summit, but by how faithfully one walks the path. Many have abandoned their journey simply because they could not see beyond the moment of trial. But the wise know that delay is not denial. When the farmer plants the seed, he does not despair when he sees only soil the next day. He trusts that within the darkness, growth is at work. So trust in this: your efforts are seen, your struggles are known, and your faith will not be in vain. Press on, for the one who watches over you neither slumbers nor forgets. The victory is not uncertain, it is assured. You are not alone, nor are you unseen. Stand firm, work diligently, and walk in faith. The day will come when the veil is lifted, and all that was hidden shall be revealed in glory. Divine awareness: God sees every effort. There is no thought too quiet, no deed too small, no struggle too private that escapes the gaze of the divine. Every moment of perseverance, every silent tear, every act of goodness, though it may seem to go unnoticed by the world, rests fully in the awareness of God. The human heart often longs for recognition, for some assurance that its labor is not in vain, but the greatest assurance is not found in the fleeting praise of men, but in the unwavering attention of the Creator. It is a misconception to believe that what is unseen is unimportant. The world may measure success by visibility, but God's economy operates on a different principle. Consider the roots of a tree. Though buried deep beneath the earth, unseen and unnoticed, they are the foundation of its strength. Think of the craftsmen who build cathedrals. Some carve intricate designs on the highest beams, hidden from human eyes, knowing that no one will ever see their work from the ground below. And yet they carve with the same diligence and devotion as if their work were placed at eye level. Why? Because they are not working for human approval, but for something far greater. Such is the call of every faithful heart, to labor with excellence, even when no one is watching, for someone always is. The unseen nature of our efforts does not diminish their significance. The mother who prays over her sleeping child, the worker who remains honest in a corrupt workplace, the student who studies diligently despite feeling unnoticed. These acts, though small in the eyes of the world, are great in the eyes of God. They are woven into the grand design of His purpose, each thread contributing to a tapestry we cannot yet see in full. When the weight of obscurity feels heavy, remember the story of the farmer. He sows his seeds into the ground and for a time sees nothing but barren soil. Days pass, then weeks, with no sign of growth. Yet beneath the surface, unseen by his eyes, transformation is taking place. In the same way, God sees the hidden growth within us. He understands the depth of our efforts and the sincerity of our hearts. Even when there is no immediate evidence of success, faithfulness is not about being seen, it is about being steadfast. The world may overlook quiet acts of perseverance, but God does not. Every moment of patience, every resistance to temptation, every attempt to choose goodness over ease is recorded in eternity. What seems small to us is monumental in His sight. Consider the example of a candle in a darkened room. Its light may seem weak compared to the vast darkness, yet it changes the atmosphere around it. Even if no one acknowledges the glow, the light still shines. In the same way, the efforts we make, no matter how small or unnoticed, carry meaning beyond what we can perceive. History is filled with stories of those who worked in the shadows, their contributions unrecognized until much later. Many of the world's greatest minds, artists and saints, lived lives of quiet diligence, their impact only fully understood after they were gone. But their efforts were never truly hidden. They were always seen by the one who matters most. Even when we struggle in silence, when no one acknowledges our sacrifices, when the path feels lonely, we are never truly alone. The one who sees the sparrow fall, who knows the stars by name, who numbers the hairs on our heads, He sees. And in that divine seeing there is deep assurance that nothing we do for good is ever wasted. Purpose in struggle, every trial refines the soul. Struggle is not a sign of abandonment, but of preparation. It is easy to assume that suffering is merely an obstacle, a hindrance to what we desire. Yet, every hardship carries within it the potential for refinement. The fire that melts gold does not destroy it. Rather, it purifies, removing the impurities that would weaken its value. Likewise, our trials are not meant to break us, but to reveal the strength hidden within us. A seed must break open before it can grow into a tree. If it remains untouched, if it avoids the darkness of the soil, it will never fulfill its purpose. The pressure, the weight, the seeming burial, all are necessary parts of its transformation. So it is with the soul. What feels like a season of loss or struggle may in fact be the very process that leads to new life, to a deeper understanding of who we are meant to become. The sculptor does not hesitate to strike the marble with his chisel. Each blow removes what does not belong, shaping the stone into something greater than it was before. The process is not gentle, nor is it comfortable, but it is necessary. The trials we face serve the same purpose. They strip away pride, impatience, and doubt, shaping us into vessels fit for a greater calling. There is no growth without resistance. The muscles of an athlete strengthen through strain. The mind of a scholar sharpens through challenge. The heart of the faithful deepens through trials. If ease were the path to greatness, then every person would reach their highest potential without effort. But it is struggle that separates the passive from the purposeful, the complacent from the committed. Consider the refining of silver. The silversmith watches the metal closely as it is heated, knowing that too much fire will destroy it, yet too little will leave it impure. He does not remove it from the flame until he sees his reflection in its surface. So it is with us. The trials we endure are measured, allowed not to destroy us, but to refine us. There is a reason why mountains are difficult to climb. The higher one ascends, the thinner the air, the greater the exhaustion. But with every step, the view expands. What once seemed distant and unreachable becomes clear. Struggles are not meant to keep us at the base of the mountain. They are meant to draw us higher, giving us strength and wisdom that could never be gained on flat ground. Pain is often the birthplace of transformation. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. The hardest winters prepare the land for the beauty of spring. The soul, too, must endure its seasons of difficulty, so that it may emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the purpose ahead. What we see as suffering may, in truth, be the shaping of something far greater than we can yet understand. A child learning to walk stumbles and falls, not because they are failing, but because they are growing. No parent rushes to stop the struggle, for they know it is necessary. Without it, the child would never learn balance, never gain strength, never move forward. If such wisdom exists in earthly parents, how much more in the hands of the divine? The trials we face are not cruelty. They are the steps that lead us toward maturity, toward purpose, toward the fulfillment of what we were created to be. The greatest stories ever told are not of those who never struggled, but of those who overcame. Strength is not forged in ease, but in endurance. The victories that matter most are those won in the heart, long before they are seen by the world. It is in the moments of trial, in the times of difficulty, that we are given the opportunity to grow into something more than we were before. Struggle, then, is not meaningless. It is the chisel in the hands of the sculptor, the fire in the refining of gold, the dark soil in which the seed begins its journey to the light. It is not the enemy of progress, but the very force that makes it possible. Every trial serves a purpose, shaping us into what we were meant to become. Faith over discouragement. Doubt and hardship are part of the journey. Doubt is not a sign of weakness, but a reality of the human experience. Even the strongest hearts have faced moments of uncertainty, times when the path ahead seemed unclear, and the weight of struggle felt unbearable. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the choice to keep walking despite it. It is the decision to trust in what is unseen when everything visible seems to contradict it. A traveler crossing a fog-covered valley cannot always see the road ahead. The mist obscures the destination, making each step feel uncertain. But the road does not cease to exist simply because it is hidden. The traveler moves forward not because he sees the entire path, but because he trusts that it continues. Faith is the willingness to walk even when the view is unclear, knowing that the way exists even when our eyes cannot perceive it. There will be times when discouragement whispers that all effort is wasted, that no progress is being made. The temptation to abandon the journey often comes just before the breakthrough. Many have turned back at the very moment they were closest to the summit, believing they were still lost in the valley. The mind, burdened by hardship, often convinces itself that relief will never come. But relief does not depend on feelings, it depends on persistence. A farmer does not despair when he plants a seed and sees nothing for days. He does not dig up the soil in frustration, assuming nothing is happening beneath the surface. He understands that growth takes time. Roots must form before shoots emerge. The unseen process must take place before the visible results appear. In the same way, faith calls us to trust that our efforts, though hidden from immediate sight, are producing something greater than we realize. The greatest figures in history, Those whose faith stood unshaken were not without hardship. They were tested, refined, and strengthened through trials that seemed insurmountable at the time. They did not reach their purpose through ease, but through endurance. A ship is not tested in calm waters, but in the midst of the storm. Its strength is revealed when the winds rise and the waves crash against it. A faith untested is a faith unproven. Discouragement is a weapon used against the soul, a voice that seeks to convince us that the struggle is pointless. But its power lies only in our willingness to listen. The moment we recognize it for what it is, a temporary illusion rather than a lasting reality, it begins to lose its grip. The storm may rage, but it cannot last forever. The night may be dark, but morning is inevitable. The sculptor does not abandon his work simply because the stone resists the chisel. He understands that the resistance is part of the process, that the beauty within the marble is only revealed through continued effort. The very struggle is what transforms the rough block into a masterpiece. Faith does not remove struggle. It gives purpose to it. A candle in the wind may flicker, but it does not go out if it is shielded. Faith is the shield against discouragement. It does not prevent difficulties from arising, but it prevents them from extinguishing the light within us. A flickering flame is still a flame. It still gives warmth. It still pushes back the darkness. Even a small faith, held firmly, is enough to carry us through. The journey of faith is not meant to be walked without struggle. If ease were the measure of truth, then no great accomplishment would ever have been achieved. The mountain climber does not expect a smooth path. He anticipates difficulty but climbs anyway. The musician does not master his craft without practice. He expects challenge but persists anyway. Faith is not about avoiding hardship. It is about persevering through it. A tree grows stronger when it faces the wind. Its roots dig deeper, anchoring it more firmly in the ground. Without resistance, it would remain weak, vulnerable to the first storm that comes. The soul, too, finds its strength in opposition. Each moment of struggle, each battle with doubt, is an opportunity for deeper trust, for a faith that does not waver with circumstances. There is no shame in feeling weary. Even the strongest grow tired. But weariness is not a signal to quit. It is a sign that effort is being made. The runner does not stop simply because he is out of breath. He pushes forward, knowing that endurance is built through each step. Faith calls us to continue, not because the road is easy, but because the destination is worth the journey. The clouds may cover the sun, but they do not remove its existence. The warmth still reaches the earth even when it is unseen. In the same way, God's presence remains even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. The unseen is not the unreal. What we trust in faith will one day be revealed as the very foundation that carried us forward.